Jeremy Greer.
And I am Gary Butterfield.
And this is Days of Future Cast, the podcast that is slowly but surely coming to the end of Avengers versus X-Men. We're talking about Uncanny X-Men number 18, a.k.a. the good comic.
Yeah. In this crossover, Kieran Gillen has written the stuff that I like the best.
Yeah, absolutely.
By quite a bit.
This is something we specifically asked for, and I love when this happens on a podcast, when you are like, man, I wish they would do more of X, Y, or Z, and then the comic book is like, here, in the next issue. Here, this is specifically for you. Yeah. So we're going to get a lot of like real in-depth look at Cyclops and Emma's relationship as they are the Phoenix, and as both of them are trying to maintain control over themselves. And it's really cool. Like, that's Gillen's like fucking wheelhouse. And it's really, really good.
It's very good. I wanted to give a shout out to someone in the Slack, but I don't have the message anymore, and Slack eats messages.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just like, hey, in terms of the rest of AVX, this is what those issues are, basically to help you guys decide what you actually want to cover.
Oh, I can probably, you sent me a picture of that. I can probably look that up in my text messages.
Yeah. So shout out. That was very useful. It's the reason why we're not covering Avengers number 30.
Yes, that's exactly why we're not doing that.
Yeah, because it seems very just very loosely related, and I'm sick of it. This on the other hand is good. And AVX 20 or Uncanny X-Men number 20 is not really considered part of the crossover, but I still kind of think we should do it next time.
Okay,
because it's about the fallout.
Yeah, I've read it, and I think it's really
Obviously
good. Is the reason that I want to do it.
It's good, and it's like what happens to Cyclops is obviously important to us.
Shout out to Jake in the Slack.
Yeah, thank you, Jake. Really appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
Cover here, we got Cyclops and Emma Frost make it out in the sky.
Hell yeah.
This is going to be the end of their relationship here pretty soon.
What do you think the time differential between you learning that you could fly and you masturbating while flying would be? Like, how long would it take you, do you think?
Chewing on that for a second.
Okay. Think about it real hard.
It's been a long time. It's been a long time since I've kind of freeform masturbated, like masturbated standing up or anything.
Okay.
So it was a big staple of being on tour,
What kind of shows were you doing?
Jim Rose Psycho Circus.
Okay, yeah.
On band tour, jerking off in Starbucks bathrooms in order to, because gotta jerk off somewhere.
Gotta get it. Yeah, might as well be a nice bathroom.
Yeah, and my aim was great. But
I feel like all guys say that.
No, I mean, hey, this is at this point, this is a 16-year-old memory. So I am, who knows? People have lived and died in the span since I came in a Starbucks bathroom. But so I would eventually do it. I think that it would take a while though for me actually before I jerked off in the sky.
Before you had like the idea to, or you think it would just take a while from when you started to get to the completion? Like, you think you would go from Louisiana to Portland in the time? Like, I don't know how fast you're flying, you know what I'm saying? But like, let's assume 300 miles per hour. Like, that seems like a reasonable.
I have no idea how universal this is, but as I get older, like, I have not become a less sexual being, but it's more walled off. Okay. It's more like, it is time for sex. I'm in the mood for that. But if something else is like, if I'm out in public or something like that, like, I don't get horny, like just doing other stuff.
Okay.
It's like either time for sex or not time for sex, really.
Yeah.
So I feel like flying, especially when it was still new and novel, which would be novel for a very long time, I think my brain would really definitively sort into not time for sex.
So you think it would be like months?
Years.
Wow. Okay.
I think.
Do you think you would have? Do you think you would have sex while flying before you jerked off while flying?
Can my partner fly as well?
You have super strength, and you were holding your partner, and so there's
so I do have super strength.
Yeah, there's a little bit of fear element. I mean, I'm not saying that your partner needs super strength. I'm not trying to imply anything, but I'm just saying you would be comfortable holding your partner for as long as it takes you.
That's the answer, because it's like, if I'm worried about dropping this person and them dying.
Yes.
And my, like, surprisingly, at the moment of climax, my grip is not great.
Sure. Yeah.
You think it'd be better, but I could imagine losing grip. I would do that before I would masturbate in the sky, I think.
Fair enough.
Because then it's like, hey, check out this cool thing we can do now.
Yeah. Here's a new trick.
Yeah. And it's very like romantic. even though it's really weird. Like, it sounds romantic. This cover has like the semiotics of romance,
Yes.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
even though it is just really weird and a public health hazard.
How many times have you been
And
on
there's
a
probably a lot
motorcycle?
of bugs up there.
How many times have you ever been on a motorcycle in your life?
Quite a bit. My dad used to primarily drive a motorcycle. So, I mean, quite a bit up until I was 11 years old and then never again.
Because that would be my concern with doing anything is like you're flying and then there's just you're being pelted by insects that you were just running into. Like, because you know what I'm saying? Like you're just being like, it would just be kind of a horrifying experience unless you're like, maybe you could fly backwards or something. So then they're just hitting the back of your head. But even then it seems like it'd be a distraction.
That's gross. Yeah. And you also don't have to move. You could just hover and have sex, but that's also, you're much more likely to be seen.
That also seems like less romantic in some way. I don't know why.
Yeah. I don't know. That's just not.
It's like the difference between going to Chili's and Olive Garden. Olive Garden is like 20% more romantic.
They're functionally the same, but it's so much more romantic.
The same. Yeah, they both have endless breadsticks somehow. I don't know how. Yeah. That's what I call my dick, by the way. Endless breadsticks.
Endless breadstick. Yeah. Endless breadstick.
Oh, we have 20 pages of comic to get through. We need to not.
Yeah, let's get through it.
So yeah, we got Cyclops and Emma Frost making out on the front, and then we open up in the office of Kate Kildare, who was our PR person. We saw her really early on.
She's related to that kid, that Hellfire kid.
I don't care.
No, I just never noticed it before.
I didn't either.
She's also a Kildare. Yeah.
I wonder, and I don't care.
Yeah.
She is. We saw her really early on. She released that like press release that Cyclops did before he had all the Phoenix powers, saying that the Avengers were bad, basically. And she's just wondering, like, she's sitting in like kind of the wreckage of her office, wondering how to spin all of this. What kind of headlines should be written of like after, and she's going through the history. So we see she talks about Namor, she talks about Magic and Colossus losing their power, and Pact Utopia endures, everyone else is doomed.
Yeah, it's gotten apocalyptic, so she does not know how to spin it.
Mm-hmm.
We cut over to Pax Utopia, these flying islands. And here we're finally getting the dialogue between Cyclops and Emma Frost that ends up making it feel like a subtle slide into madness.
Mm-hmm.
Again, big Cyclops stan in general. He's holding on longer than everyone else. Every time Emma has one of these like psychopath ideas, he's just like, no, like this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
She's like, hey, Magneto's coming. He's been hesitant. Should I kill him? And just like real casually, and he's no. You go on. I'll just take care of it.
It's totally fine. Magneto comes up and is like, "Hey, homie, I didn't realize this is probably like one of the dudes from Jackass being like 45 minutes into filming, going like, I didn't understand. You guys didn't inform me that it would go this far. I was
going to drink this much bull semen.
Yeah.
And Cyclops tries to fire him. Your efforts are appreciated. We can finish it from here. I love just dismissing Magneto. It's so good. He's saying like, listen, you can't do this. You can't build Utopia on fire. You're sounding like me. And Cyclops kind of loses it. He's like, shut up. Everyone keeps saying that. I'm not like you because I'm winning.
Got him.
Yep, got him in one.
Fucking nailed it. Love this.
Yep.
Meanwhile, freshly depowered Magic and Colossus teleport themselves into Siberia. And man, I feel like I'm missing so much context with this Magic and Colossus stuff, and I'm loving it. Like I love the stuff that I'm reading, but I feel like I'm watching fucking the Towers, the Lord of the Ring, the Tower of the whatever, and didn't read Fellowship first or whatever. Like I'm
a lot of realms in this thing.
Yeah. There's a ring.
It's somewhere along the way there was some magic characterization that we missed.
Yes.
I started reading the Karen Gillan Uncanny and then stopped because I was doing other stuff. I will read it all, especially now that I know there's 20 issues. And I've already read, 7 of them.
Yeah.
That is high on my list, and that will hopefully provide this background.
Me too.
But the idea here is this is the full villain turn of Magic. Like, they got away, and Colossus is consumed with guilt.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, we brought we brought heaven to earth, but then we brought hell too. And he's laying out the case better than any of the mainline comics, anything else in the crossover has done about like how bad this is. And he's just going through his sins,
and she is too. Like he's feeling this guilt, but she's kind of like laying out the idea of what the Phoenix did to them, but without guilt. Like the Phoenix is infinite, so that all of our flaws were magnified. Our flaws blotted out the sun. We are flawed, and we are poor vessels for infinity. Like, of course, we failed in this because we weren't the chosen vessel. This was thrust upon us, and we were not. We were an imperfect vessel to receive infinity. And I think that's just like, yeah, absolutely you were.
Yep. So Colossus is totally black-pilled, talking about how, like, when he was fighting, he was imagining dead Avengers and their blood and everything. He's such a fuck up. Everything he touches turns to ashes. I don't deserve to live. I'm a monster. And she says, finally, she's like, gives him this like kind of bored look. And she's like, this is the idea. Like, you weren't like me. You loved me. You wanted to understand me, but you couldn't. You've been a falling snowflake this whole time. I'm a snowflake in hell, and that the snowflake is no longer. Like, you had to become a monster to understand me. Mm-hmm. I knew that. And she basically takes credit for him turning into the Juggernaut. She says, like, I knew that if I offered to become a Cytrax avatar, you'd do it. And I set you up for this so you could become a monster.
Yes.
Basically. Mm-hmm. So you could understand me. Join me in the filth. There are no snowflakes in hell.
Yeah. And he just looks at this and goes like, you're fucking insane. And she says, oh, thank you. I knew you would finally understand.
Yeah.
And this enrages him, and he loses control, and he becomes the Colossus Jugnut.
Colossus Jugnut.
Colossus Jugnut.
Energy drink.
That's what I call my Ford F-250. Colossus Jugnut. He calls her abomination, and she says, "Yes, we are." And he attacks her, and she asks him, like, in a very quiet voice, like, how does it feel to fall? So the whole idea of this is that she wanted Cyclops to come down to what she perceives, Colossus to come down to her level, because she's always been like tainted, even from as a young kid. Like, she's always been tainted by her experiences with Limbo and all of the stuff that she went through. And again, we're missing some stuff here, obviously, but like, this is really, really compelling. It just makes me want to go read all of that stuff again. So
yeah, magic is cool. Magic's also always been a little hot topic.
Yeah, that's what that's why she's like, cool, Gary. I don't know. You're proving your own point.
But it's like, oh, my demon nature.
Yeah,
and she's saying this is my gift, but regret that I've given you, as she teleports away.
Yeah. And then she's got the earbuds in, and she's just fucking jamming Tori Amos right now, dude. Just fucking jamming Tori right now. It's so cool.
We cut over to Cyclops and Emma Frost eating dinner, and I fucking love it. Like, again, they're still eating. They have these rituals that humans do, but it's all fucked up and weird. Like, they're eating a mind dinner in a mind palace. Because they don't have to eat real food anymore.
I absolutely adore this, because he's like, the steak is good. And she says, oh, well, I took the memory of the steak, of the taste of the steak from a homeless person that was able to steal of like a filet mignon from a restaurant. And it was the best food he ever tasted. And then he says, like, the sauce is good too. And she says, oh, that's human blood.
Yeah. I found a serial killer. He's a cannibal. I was looking for a steak. I mind wiped him, but his experience was really fascinating. I thought you might dig this. Again, in one page, doing more to sell the creeping alienation of these characters than the entire crossover did.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It just, man, was this missing. And I don't know the release order. I want to be fair to the crossover. Like, it's possible that the reading order is what failed us, and we were meant to read this in advance. Mm-hmm. It's hard. If so, it's kind of difficult, because this definitely takes place before the big thing, but the next issue kind of takes place after, and it's pretty confusing the way it's laid out.
Yes.
So I have sympathy for us in that scenario, but who knows how it would read if you were reading it when they came out. And scheduling comics is hard.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I kind of get it.
And reading this stuff, I think this is just as valuable to me after the fact that as it was before. I think it would have made that other comic way better if I had read this before, but I'm still like absolutely loving this. Just Cyclops' face when she says human blood, and you can see him just frowning. I'm just like, can't say anything. She's my superpowered girlfriend.
Yeah, it retroactively made the crossover feel a little bit better to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and that's like the best thing it could possibly do.
He's worried.
He like, calls out. He's like, "Yeah, this is worrying."
And she says, like, well, I prefer to leave all the worrying to you. And in the middle of this, they're interrupted, and he just kind of casually says, like, oh, Xavier has taken over my active mind, and he's done the same thing for Emma Frost. And she just sees right through it. She's like tying us up so that the Avengers can attack. And they say, like, nobody realizes how big we are, and we cut to the real world where they're just like actively engaged in a fight. Like this was all happening inside, like during a combat moment, like during a full fucking attack. This is so cool.
Yeah, really, really good. You know, it's real cute. Like he's like, we should probably explain it to them again. He's like, oh, don't be so glum. We have a really busy work life. Shared leisure activities keep relationship healthy. Like it's just very like, again, feels off-putting and alien as they turn the fight and they just fuck up tons of Avengers and X-Men.
And, Cyclops recognizes that the X-Men have joined the Avengers and is like, well, I kind of figured Storm would do it, but everybody else. And Emma's like, I keep saying this, but like it would be way easier just to scour the world and rebuild it because nobody's going to appreciate us. And like the pause, like the fucking weight that these ellipses carry because Cyclops just pauses like, I think that's a bad idea. Like he doesn't know.
He's not sure. Yeah, it's so good. Again, what we were missing here. He says after that, he's like, I don't remember why it's a bad idea.
Yeah.
They are no longer like, this is like Dr. Manhattan shit.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Like I started rereading Watchmen.
Really?
Just for funzos. Yeah, I just like it. And it's a quick read. It's 12 issues, and I have a big fancy collector's edition I've never cracked into. This is what they did. That's the cool thing with Dr. Manhattan. The humans around him trying to engage in human rituals as he slowly loses touch with the meaning of those rituals, and that's something on that scale is happening here. Mm-hmm. She confesses, she's like, hey, I thought about having an affair with Namor, and because we were phoenixes, as soon as we thought it happened. Like we had brain sex.
And she even she's like, we did this in our head. Like, do you want to know how that felt? And he's like, no, I don't. Absolutely not.
I love that. And she's realizing this too. She's like, I'm sorry, I love you. This is too much. Like our smallest ideas are just bombs. Like everything that she thinks about for like a second just happens.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
No.
Right? Like that is, again, very scary as an idea. The number of times, like, I'm walking down the street and if somebody will be obnoxious or somebody will be like rude to me, like a barista, and I never wish harm on them. Like, it's not that specific, but I wouldn't want to have the Phoenix Force where I could knock them out with just a errant thought, like the tiniest thought.
Oh, dude.
Because they were condescending.
The amount of times that I'm like, oh, fuck you when I'm driving and somebody cuts me off or is just driving recklessly and endangering people or whatever. Like, and if I had like the Phoenix Force fuck you, that would be way worse.
The Phoenix fuck?
If I had a Phoenix middle finger, that'd be bad.
Yeah. The Phoenix, the big fire, the fiery bird.
The big fiery Phoenix bird.
But yeah, it would be a nightmare, and she's worried about it, and she's like, and this battle is going really bad. Like, we are losing this battle. She says like, hey, we need to actually unleash our powers. We have to actually do this. And actually kill them all. Like, a queen of a world of ashes is still a queen. He raises a toast, and this is him in the psychic space stealing her powers.
I love the top panels to both of these pages because we see we see Emma Frost like taking on Wolverine and Red Hulk at the same time, but behind her is Cyclops like surrounded in fire, obviously like thinking, like he's having this moment of like, this is what I need to do. And in the next panel, he's like literally attacking her as she disappears from the psychic space.
He gets the lag stab.
He gets oh man. Did you see that this is totally off topic, that the Salt and Sanctuary sequel has PvP now?
I did not see that.
Yeah, I don't know how that's going to work at all, but like I can't wait to lag stab some dudes in that game when I play it in like 6 months.
I'm very curious about that game. Like I don't love the first one, but I thought there's a lot of room for a lot of potential. So
yeah, same.
I think it'll be cool.
This is such a cool moment, and it's
Yep.
This is why I think it has to be like placed after the like you see it in the comic, because I feel like you see it happen and you're like, why the fuck did he do that? And then this comic explains it. So.
Yeah, it works really well. And in the Mind Palace, what he does is he picks up the wine glass that is full of Phoenix Force and drinks it. Like it's a really cool, like that's the metaphor, for what's happening. And he starts turning into Dark Phoenix. And the next issue is entirely from Scott's perspective, which is something we've been missing the entire time, that has to mixed results. And it really works here.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is awesome. I loved most of this. This is a fun comic book that's well written. The art is good. Like I just like all of this stuff. It works so well.
Yeah, it could for 100%. Like the art is not perfect. They're like tiny nitpicky things. There are a couple of images that I think are a little goofy, and I was missing that magic stuff, but that's my fault. I love this. If anything that comes out of AVX, like a mixed success in a general sense, like I've enjoyed reading and talking about it, but it hasn't been, a complete, home run. Getting turned on to Kieran Gillen's X-Men.
Yeah.
Is justifies the time. Easily
the win there. And I don't know. It'll be, we're not going to be ready to tackle like a huge overarching thing, but like when we eventually do Hoxpox, like it'll be interesting to compare, because that seems like such a huge shift, which is what I think they wanted this to be, but it just like overall it doesn't dramatically change much besides bringing some mutants back. And like I think that I guess this is probably more wrap up thoughts that I just had in my head as we were talking, but like it just doesn't feel like very significant in a way. So I don't know.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah. So very good comic. If you like this very good show, go to patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv and give us some dollars.
Yeah, give us your dollary dues.
What's a dollary dues?
You're gonna get episodes of this podcast early. You get to join the Slack channel and talk with some like-minded people. You get tons of exclusive content like Bonfireside Chat. If you're reading this, if you're listening to this on the public feed, you only have a couple of days before Elden Ring. I would imagine that you were probably an Elden Ring fan. I'm just guessing. Like literally everybody is nowadays. So jump on the bandwagon. Jump on the Bonfireside Chat Elden Ring bandwagon and come play along with Gary and Cole. Gary, I want to be on the Swamp episode.
Dedicated.
I'm just going to say
Swamp
that.
Episode?
I'll be on the Swamp episode. That's what I want.
I think there might be 2 swamps in this one.
That's what I've heard. I wasn't going to say that, but because I didn't know what you knew. But yeah, I've heard there was multiple swamps. I want to be on the worst Swamp episode. Whatever swamp is the worst. So
done.
Okay.
You can tell. I hope that my girlfriend understands my dedication. That instead of playing Elden Ring when it comes out, we're going to go away for a weekend for her birthday, and I'm just going to play it when I get back. So that's being an adult, baby.
I'm actually like the weekend that comes out. Where like I think the way that the timing is going to work out is that's going to be the weekend before we launch the new podcast over at Monster of the Week. And so when we launch a new podcast, I'm the dumbass that like we create a theme song and I make a music video about it. So I'll be like, I'm going to be either not video editing and feeling guilty about it, or I'm going to be video editing and feeling bad that I'm not keeping up with Elden Ring. Like there's no way I can just feel whole,some with that. The only
just take video footage of the opening of Elden Ring and set the video to that.
Perfect.
Yeah, split the difference.
Yeah, everybody would like that. Everybody would really dig that. So, anyway, leave us rating reviews. Go to the Patreon. Do all that stuff. We'll be back in a couple of days with Uncanny X-Men number 19.